I was very uninterested in finance until I got married. Like, we were broke as a joke when we got married, living off a teacher's salary. Every penny mattered. And so then it was, okay, how do we build a budget? We got into the Dave Ramsey plan of working through the baby steps, and that sparked it in me.
My dad never saved a dollar. And so he waited for that inheritance, and watching it dangled over his head and the control of it. And then when he finally got it and it wasn't as much of what he thought it was going to be, the emotional toll on it.
Yeah.
Watching my mom's lifestyle completely disappear.
Ouch.
Yeah.
I see people who don't understand their monthly cash flow and their budget, which they should be designing. That's the cornerstone of a good financial life. I don't see people progressing too much further in having a fulfilled life with goals that matter if they're not aware of. Heather and I agree on a lot of things. There's some things which we wildly disagree on, and we're going to take you through those today. So, buckle up. Welcome back to another episode of Playbook of the Wealthy. My name is Dave Grant. My co-host is Heather Townsend. Today, we're in our virtual boxing ring because we're going to talk about the things that we disagree on financially. If you've not been to our podcast before, this is probably not the best first episode for you to watch, but keep watching because we're going to break all of our content structure. We're just diving into questions, scenarios, and we're just going to spar back and forth or agree and be friendly. We'll see.
Really? That's what we're doing today? I thought these were more like, that was not where, when I posted these questions, that I thought the podcast would be going today.
We'll see. I might change my answers just to see if I can get a reaction out of you.
Okay, can I give some backstory? The first few questions were asked to me, and I thought they were just fantastic questions because they're not from my clients. They're from people on the outside that haven't worked with a financial advisor before.
Okay.
And they're kind of wanting to get to know my world, me, how did I get there? And I was like, these would be great for the podcast, and I wonder what Dave would say.
Okay.
So question one was, what first sparked your interest in finance? Was it a path you always envisioned, or did a particular experience lead you there?
I was very uninterested in finance until I got married. And I was probably not great at money until then. So that was, I got married younger. I was 24 when I got married after a whole immigration story.
We live such different lives. Yeah.
And so it was just being forced. Like, we were broke as a joke when we got married, living off a teacher's salary because I couldn't work yet just due to immigration. So it was like every penny mattered. And so then it was, okay, how do we build a budget? Sarah's far better at money in terms of historically than I was. And then we got into the Dave Ramsey plan of working through the baby steps, and that sparked it in me. I was like, this is really fun. Granted, we were doing things right and hadn't gone too far in the wrong way. And then I was like, do people do this for a job? Like, I had no idea. And then found that you could help people with money. Like, that's wild. You get paid for it. Like, that's phenomenal. And then that started the journey of, okay, let me find a place to work and let me learn. So I started doing the Certified Financial Planner course by myself without having a job. Really difficult if you don't have a background in personal finance. So that learning curve was really steep. But that was 20 years ago. And it's just been a journey of love since then. That was cringy. It's been a long, hard journey, but it's been a lot of fun.
So that's what sparked it, the Dave Ramsey book.
I did. Yeah. Living
Dave
off
loves
Target
Dave.
gift cards. I did have a love affair with Dave Ramsey at some point.
I know.
I'm not too keen on him for some things right now, but he does great content.
For debt, I think if anyone's in deep credit card debt, they should read his book. That's where I'm at.
All right, what about you?
So mine is, as usual, a more emotional, deep story, I guess. But it was watching my mom's lifestyle completely disappear. So when I went to college, basically, my dad inherited a lot of money. When they got divorced, she, because of the way with the state laws, she couldn't get any of that inherited money.
Okay.
So her life of country clubs and cars and all of that, it just disappeared. And the other reason it disappeared is my dad never saved a dollar.
Ouch.
Yeah. And so he waited for that inheritance, and watching it dangled over his head and the control of it, And then when he finally got it and it wasn't as much of what he thought it was going to be, the emotional toll on it.
Yeah.
And so, I see my mom's lifestyle completely disappear. I see my dad never save. My parents argue about money, how money in a family can control you. Like, these are a lot of money stories that I'm learning as a young kid. And so when I went to college, is it any surprise that the first book I pick up is How Women Finish Rich by David Bob?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be controlled by money. I didn't want my lifestyle to get, taken away. And also, weirdly enough, I grew up in this country club lifestyle that, I hate to say it, but it was really the cliche. These men would leave their wives for their secretaries or their mistresses.
Sure.
And I would see where these women would end up. So I read the book. I went to my parents and I was like, you're not getting any of my internship money. I am investing in a Roth IRA. And they couldn't say no to that. And so, I invested my own money and the rest is history.
Wow. I start to realize when you tell stories like that, how insulated I was growing up about money and just like money stories and how that all works. Because probably in my own world at that point, but it's crazy how different people's journeys with money affect their adult life with money. It still blows my mind to this day.
Yeah. And that's what drives me. Like, I don't want anyone, I started my firm just wanting to help women at first, which isn't surprising in my story, but now that's not actually where I am. I actually want to help good people. I don't care what gender, whatever. I just care if you're a good human. Help, but I don't want anyone to be in that position. That's a good human.
Sure. Question number 2, is there one financial habit you believe everyone should practice consistently, and why does it make a difference?
Mine is saving. I think just setting up that $100 or whatever it is, an automatic, if you get into that habit of putting a little bit away every month, it's easier to increase it. It's that behavioral thing that you don't just spend everything that comes in.
Yeah.
That's my first piece.
So mine is going to be debt. I think people can, I guess you could call it the albatross around your neck of the more debt you get into, the harder it is to live a financially fulfilling life. And while people may look like on the outside they're having a great time, if that's all financed by debt, the emotional toll that has on you after a while is significant, and it has some health issues. So it's live a simple life, pay for stuff without debt where you can. And if you're going into debt, make it a very smart decision.
The Midwesterner is saying live a simple life.
Shock. What?
No, I think that's very wildly different, right? I'm like save, invest, and you're more on the debt side. And that's probably from our own money stories too, right? And of course, I've seen it. You can over leverage at debt. On our previous episode where I talked about the Peloton billionaire, right? But what I think is important is debt. Is all debt bad to you? Because you are definitely like, pay off the mortgage, like no mortgage, no. I think you just want people to not have any debt. Where I'm like, well, it depends on the debt.
I guess I work with retirees a lot more as my client base. And that's probably the focus of the conversation is, do you want to be debt-free at retirement? Yeah. And the majority is yes. So that's kind of where it goes. But I've seen the reverse side of it of people who come in and they're like, or just hearing stories of, I have so much debt and I'm just trapped.
Well, you can though. At first it's one credit card, then it's another credit card, and then it's a third credit card. But then what happens is those minimum payments start becoming so high that then now it's taking up whatever that extra cash flow was that it's harder to pay them down.
Yeah.
Question 3. When it comes to small business owners, in what area of their finances do you most encourage them to seek guidance or support?
There's a lot of stuff for business owners. I think the main one for me, and this is probably going to be personal too, is as it relates to finances, you have to grow a good business first. Because if you don't, and if you don't have good marketing, if you don't have a good sales process, you don't have any revenue, so you actually don't have a business. So you don't have any of the problems as a business owner has if you don't have revenue.
That's very true.
So the first financial thing you should be worried about is building a substantial and sustainable line of revenue that will continue to grow your business. And then you can start to get into the weeds of, well, how do I manage this and yada, yada, yada. So I think that's probably the good first thing is build up that revenue and make yourself have a good business first in terms of numbers.
And I differ on that. But I guess because of the way I answered it, I assumed these business owners were like had revenue, right?
Sure.
So if they have revenue, they're a business. What I see the biggest mistake is they don't know their numbers in their business.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't make good decisions. You're making decisions on emotions then rather than, can I afford this? And you can't look at ROI on the marketing. Is it moving the needle if you don't know your numbers, right? Like if you're spending $3,000 on marketing in the last year a month and your profit is the same as last year, then did it do anything?
Right.
And so, people honestly say, oh, you should get a CPA first. And I'm almost like, I think you should get a bookkeeper first. You need to have a good P&L. You need to understand your numbers.
Yeah.
And a bookkeeper that's willing to walk you through and give comparisons of, hey, last year you had this year you didn't. These were the differences that I see. That's actually in the numbers, looking at your profit and loss and being like,
that's interesting.
So that's where I actually think, and then the tax planning can come from it, the tax strategy and all of that. But if you don't even know what tax bracket you're in, what your profit is, nothing, you can't make any decision.
Yeah.
I can't business strategy for you if I don't know your numbers.
Sure.
So that's what my answer was. Okay, question 4.
What is the most common financial mistake you see people make, and what advice would you offer to help them avoid it?
We're going to have different answers.
What? No. All right, let me throw mine out. I see people who don't understand their monthly cash flow and their budget, which they should be designing. That's the cornerstone of a good financial life. I don't see people progressing too much further in having a fulfilled life with goals that matter if they're not aware of what their monthly budget is.
I guess mine kind of goes into that in some way, but it's on a broader topic. I think they're just fragmented everywhere. They have cash over here for no purpose.
Mm-hmm.
They have an IRA over at this brokerage and they don't even know what it's invested in. An old 401k over here, a brokerage over here, and then a brokerage they're having fun with at Fidelity, with the other one at Schwab and with another advisor. It's just all over the place with no plan, with no goals, and they're just hoping they're going to one day be able to buy the lake house or one day be able to have financial freedom, and there is no purpose behind it. It's just fragmented and messy everywhere and it's not aligned. And again, I think this is like the clientele that is different that comes across our desk. I mean, I think it's because I have the CPA that I get these really complicated, complex situations that come up. But, they're business owners, and maybe someone is a W-2, the spouse is, but the business owner, and then you got the W-2 corporate person, and then you have some private investments. And I'm like, I need to get my arms around this and put this in a heather bow. That is literally what I say to them. I'm like, and I love it. I mean, I'm like cleaning it up, but that is literally the mistake I see. And then once we get it all aligned, organized, and moving towards their goals, it's like boom, 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 boom.
Sure.
That first year, it's a lot of cleanup.
I do find that when people have not worked with an advisor before, that first year is like drinking from a hose. They're realizing, okay, we have a lot to do to get to a place that is good, because we just piecemealed it from this point back.
Well, and then the progress, it's really fun. It's really fun to see the progress. They think we do the most work in year 1. I mean, yes, it's a lot of work, but the work that matters is year 2, year 3, year 4, because once you have the foundation, then it starts building. It's so fun. That's the part that I love. All right,
before we move on, if you've gotten some type of value from this so far, or if you're expecting some type of value, we're going to ask something from you. If you can give us a like, a comment, subscribe, a follow, and if one of these questions has resonated with your cousin who you think needs to hear this, send it over to them. Thank you.
All right. For those of you who feel it's too late to start saving, planning, or investing, what perspective or reassurance would you share? This I have heard in circles before with friends and or people who you say you're a financial advisor and they're just like, haven't started and I need to, but I just feel so defeated.
Sure.
I thought this was a great question.
You want to give your answer?
No, I think you should give your answer and I'll end with mine.
Well, mine's some tough love. Like, what's the alternative if you think now is too late? Because tomorrow is going to be even later. So start now. And the magic is if you start now, things look better tomorrow. And you feel better tomorrow because you actually started and your money is growing. So I don't like that pity party that sometimes comes across of, I haven't done anything and I'll probably just wait. And like, I end up slapping someone verbally at that point. I'm like, no, start now and things look better.
I knew I was talking to readers when I got this question, like a woman of business owners. So I ended with this, because if people are defeated, you can't yell at them. They're just going to go hide in a corner. So I said, I'm going to ask a question instead.
Mm-hmm. You're nicer than I am. Okay.
I am, but once you're a client and you're not doing the work, then I'm not so nice. Okay.
Okay.
So I said, what is more likely that you are better off if you don't, in 10 years, if you don't start or if you do start?
Mm-hmm.
And then they answer the question. And I'm guessing they'll say, I'm probably much more likely to start like better off in 10 years if I just start now.
Yeah.
So then just start. And I always say this, I will say there are people that come into my office as prospects and they're defeated, or they say, I know I shouldn't have made this mistake, or I shouldn't have done that. And I go, we've learned from that, and I don't want to go into the past. We are forward looking.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we going to go with what you have now, and what are we going to change?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Question number 6. When should someone start looking and paying for a financial advisor?
This is a really hard question. I think this is a hard question to answer. I just want to say.
Okay.
You seem to have a very clear answer to this.
I think there's a lot of good free advice out there.
There is.
I don't think someone needs to, work with a financial advisor when they get their first job. I don't think that's necessarily true. So I think if you are early in your career, and like you said, if you're good at taking action, read as much as you can, watch as much as you can. And the more you read, the more you watch, you start to discern what's good advice and what's bad advice, because good advice gets repeated. Then start doing the things that you are able to do in your control and you feel comfortable doing. If you start to find that you are getting to a place where I don't know how to do this, I'm not comfortable doing this, or I don't think I can follow through, I need some help. Mm-hmm. That's when you should start researching. And that's when you need to understand, well, what types of advisors out there are there, and how do they get paid? How do they work? What advice do they give? You got to learn that world too, unfortunately, because there's a wildly diverse range of ways that advisors work with people. And so that can depend on your situation, how much you want to pay, how much knowledge you have, and lots of different things. That's when I would start looking.
My answer was when you want to take things to the next level, or you're not doing things on your own, you need to hire a financial advisor.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite clients that ended up becoming my clients was like, my wealth has gotten too big. I can't keep my arms around it anymore.
That's a nice problem.
It is a nice problem, but it's legitimate. Like, they literally could not handle it all. They had money in all these different places. They're managing a lot. It is a complicated situation. Mm-hmm. And their peace of mind of knowing I have my arms around it, I'm looking for the strategies, and it's not just them thinking about it. And now we are thought partners together.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And also when you need accountability, if you're not going to do the thing on your own, hire a financial advisor. That's not one that is going to meet with you once a year, because there are those. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the good financial advisors that are involved, that you have regular cadence meetings that are going to make sure that you carry through on what you are supposed to do.
Can I give you a question that we have not prepped?
Okay. Woo! All right. I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready, but of course you can.
Without outing a client, what is the wildest thing you've seen someone purchase? And I'm going to give you my answer first so you can have some time to noodle on it.
I don't know if I can think. I don't know if I'm going to. We might have to come back on another podcast episode after I think about this, but let's see if something sticks.
Okay. So I have a client who loves to be in the outdoors. They enjoy camping. They enjoy going in their camper trailer. They have a wonderful income. So they came to me recently and they're like, we would like to upgrade our camper trailer. Like, cool, that's awesome. They are looking to buy an off-road vehicle that, if purchased new, would cost $1 million. It is absolutely phenomenal.
This is so cool.
The thing that I don't have a problem with, they have the money to buy it.
Okay.
So when I'm like, okay, that's cool. I have no idea what they're talking about, because I've never heard of an off-road vehicle that costs this amount of money.
No, is this like an off-road, like you are going through boulders and going up and down? Like, what is this, a racing off-road vehicle? What is this? Is this like where you sleep in the off-road vehicle? Like, what?
Think about if you took an RV
and
you pumped it full of steroids. So you've now raised the suspension. You've got utility wheels on it. It's got its own power source, water supply. It's almost like an end of the world vehicle, but it's not.
This is so
So they could go into the woods on a trail, take a sharp left, make their own trail, and then camp down and sleep in it. Like it's like an RV, but you don't need a road. It's a phenomenal vehicle. And it was wild.
I can't even top that. I didn't even know that exists.
Neither did I.
That is so cool. No, I don't. Okay, that's just a great story. Okay.
You don't have one. I knew I threw you off there.
Yeah, I don't have one off the top of my head.
So question 7, because that was not really a question. So annuities and portfolios. There's a company called Fisher Investments. They advertise on TV and the print. They hate them. Other advisors love annuities. Where do you fall?
It depends. There are really bad annuity products, let me say. Annuities, let's define for our listeners. They're normally with an insurance company, and you put in a lump sum of money normally, and it will guarantee a monthly payout. Mm-hmm. Good definition? Good Eli 5? So it's good for retirees, and it's when they don't really want to deal with the stock market. So it's kind of like you create your own pension, but with an insurance company, and you have to pay for it. I don't love them because they do. You're losing on flexibility. Let me put it that way. And I believe that if you die, sometimes it just is gone unless you put in a spouse rider and all of this. Mm-hmm. It's complicated. It's an insurance product, but they can be good for the right client. So let's say a client is terrified of the stock market. Mm-hmm. They need some of the stock market to keep up with inflation. But in order to invest in the stock market, the annuity is going to make them comfortable to spend money and live in retirement.
Sure.
Would I absolutely consider that? Yes. Where are you?
From a base level, I don't like them. I think there's a level of fees and a level of complexity that people don't understand.
Yep.
And it is rare that you see someone go out and buy an annuity versus being sold an annuity. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm like you. If I do think they have a place in portfolios. The thing I like the most, it's called a SPIA. So it's a single premium immediate annuity. You essentially go to an insurance company. You don't buy any fluff, extra fees, extra features. You say, here's a lump sum of money. Give me money every month until I die. That's pretty much that exchange and how it works. I find that's interesting for people who just want to have a regular stream of income that covers their monthly expenses. And then the rest of their portfolio is the fun money. That takes some strain off people who are retiring and they're like, this is a lot of money. I have to figure out where it's going to go, what to do, how to invest it. And they start to freak out. And so emotional people, like I said, that it certainly takes some strain off.
Yes.
For the most part, I don't like them. If people come into my office and they've already bought them, sure, let's make the best scenario out of something that's not ideal. And in some cases, it can be ideal. I just had some clients come in and they had some deferred annuities that came in. And their agent was like, you're out of the surrender period. We can move you into another annuity that will get you a better payout when you decide to turn it on. But then they're going into another lock-in period, which is how annuities work. They lock up your money. I have an annuity broker, and I said, can you shop these annuity products in the whole market, not just what this other advisor is suggesting, and just bring me back something. He came back, and it was like $10,000 a year more in income than this other agent was suggesting that they move into. And they were like, well, what's the catch? I'm like, there isn't any. Mm-hmm. Like, this broker can shop the whole market. Yes, you're in the lockup period again, but now you've just guaranteed yourself $10,000 a year more income. So what do you want to do?
The hard part too, which is funny, is I brought this up with a client that was, nervous about the stock market. Mm-hmm. And they go, I don't trust insurance companies. Like, I don't blame you sometimes, right? So it's very dependent on the client.
It's funny. And then you go, hey, let's look at your portfolio. How many insurance companies are you invested in right now?
That's a good point.
All right. We are at the end of our questions. I know that might not have been controversial as you expected, but I got to bait you into watching the episode.
Oh, you just added to the algorithm. You were one of them.
All right. We're going into highlights. This is where we talk about ourselves personally or professionally, whatever we want to talk about. Let's go. Okay. I used to edit our podcast for the first year of when we did it.
I know.
We now pay an editor His name is Matthew. I am not telling you his full name because, by goodness, I am not letting this man go. His skills are very impressive. It's got to feel weird editing this, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's hearing this.
Mm-hmm. I am blown away by what he can do on the back end of a computer. Cuts, audio, zooms, does our shorts. Decided one day to say, would you like me to do some custom intros? We just started doing those. My word. So I'm so glad that we pay him. It's every dollar well spent.
And I want to give you a compliment. You found him. I was actually talking to my husband about this before I flew out. I was like, Dave found this editor, and I don't know how he did it, but man, he is good. You did a really good job.
I had to kiss some frogs before I found him.
Oh, I remember you tested some. Yeah.
But he's very good.
Well, and I used to not really want to post our shorts anywhere, and now I post.
Thanks, Heather, because I made the shorts for a year. What's your highlight?
I gave you a compliment. No, I think you did a really good editing. We had to test this out. We didn't know. It's like a business partnership. We didn't know if we were going to, like, talking every week. Like, how did we know we were going to actually, how was that going to turn out? I wasn't going to invest a ton of money into something unless we knew we actually didn't mind talking every week. All right. So I think you know that I found a new girls group, which I'm very excited about. And just one of the women has actually moved part-time. She flies in for our dinners.
Where is she flying from?
Houston.
That's far.
I know.
Wow.
This is how devoted our woman group is. And, you know, we started from being in an investment group together. So we talk about money, and it was really cool. I had a personal financial win, and I shared it with them, which I'm normally really humble. I don't like to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know this is the group where it's not going to come off bragging, because that's what we did. And it felt so good for them to just, it was a comfortable space to share a financial win with no judgment, no, like, you know, I don't know, I'm jealous of her, whatever.
Sure.
It was just, we're all there cheering each other on. And then I don't know who my friend is, but she just got us free tickets to go to the Scottsdale Art Show that is put on by Ferrari.
That got you in the door there, didn't it?
I'm like, I'm so excited. And I've just, you know, with having twins and COVID and this business growing, I really didn't have a lot of time to make friends. And it's just, I don't know, I'm just in a really happy place that I found this group. And
that's good.
I put the work in, and that's what I asked for in 2025. And now in 2026, it's like you built it in 2025, and now 2026, I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Happy for you.
Thanks. Yeah, that's what I wanted to share.
All right, thank you for listening to this episode of Playbook of the Wealthy. If you want to listen to us in audio format, we're everywhere you can find a podcast. On video, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram, we're on Spotify. And if you want to go to our website, because that's probably where we look our best with $40,000 of cash flying around, we're at playbookotw.com. If you want to email us your questions, you can. We're at hello@playbookotw.com, and we'll see you next time.
Toodles!